target. Let's discuss with the California congressman who's been at the center of a lot of this speculation, Congressman Issa. He's the senior Republican on the House House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. Got it right. Congressman, thanks very much for coming in.
Well, thanks, Wolf. If we take control, I'd like to change the name back to Government Reform and Oversight, because we really are the committee that's supposed to decide how government is organized and accountable.
This is the committee that your colleague from California, Henry Waxman, chairs right now. A lot of subpoena power, a lot of investigation power, if you will. Newsweek recently wrote this: Republicans have a good chance to win control of the House of Representatives this fall, and Issa, that will be you, will likely lead the Oversight Committee with unfettered subpoena power. That means Democrats should expect investigations into the president's staff, his appointees, and every policy he promotes, not to mention his response to crises like the BP spill. Is that what Democrats can expect?
Not at all. Actually, you mentioned Henry Waxman. Henry Waxman has been off the committee for 2 years. You wouldn't notice it because the gentleman who replaced him, Ed Towns, is in the party of the president. So it's been very, very quiet. That's one of the challenges is we're supposed to be the committee that looks at government, the bureaucracy, its continuous failures. We have 74 IGs, inspector generals, who are, to a great extent, our partners, along with the General Accountability Office. We're supposed to do what we did back in 2005, look at Mineral Management Service and its too cozy relationship with the oil companies. And then we're supposed to do the reform. In other words, our failure was not that we didn't figure out MMS was dysfunctional, but over those intervening years, we didn't fix it. And ultimately, BP is not about the failure in the Gulf. It's about MMS's failures ever since Reagan put them in business.
These are some of the bureaucrats who were working there, career civil servants, if you will. But I got to tell you, there are plenty of Obama administration officials who are very worried right now that if you become the chairman of this committee, they can expect they're going to have to start hiring personal lawyers because you'll be subpoenaing them for records and for tapes and for everything else, sort of going back to the days of the Clinton administration when Dan Burton and other Republican members of Congress were issuing subpoenas left and right.
Well, the era of Dan Burton and the era of people taking the Fifth, leaving the country, and in some cases going to jail, is an era I hope none of us repeat. In other words, the crimes that went on shouldn't repeat, and neither should the subpoenas. But Dan Burton had a special time in which subpoena after subpoena was required because nobody would answer the questions without them. During Tom Davis's chairmanship and Henry Waxman's chairmanship, and even the time that I was a subcommittee chairman, we almost never issued subpoenas. We almost always got the answers we wanted, and we worked cooperatively, particularly with the inspectors general. Now, Wolf, there's one reform I need about subpoenas, and I'd like to bring it up here tonight. Only one inspector general. These people are appointed and confirmed, either by the president and the Senate or by the cabinet. Only one inspector general has subpoena authority. I don't really need the subpoena authority. They do. They need to get answers on behalf of, in fact, the people they work for. And right now, except for the Department of Defense, none of them have it.
These are inspectors general who work for the Justice Department, the State Department, Housing, or whatever. And you're saying they deserve to have subpoenas.
Absolutely. Presidential appointees should have the ability to get to the bottom quickly. If they have the authority, like the Department of Defense IG, they'll almost never need to use it or never need to use it. But we need the IGs to get answers. I don't need to be looking at every failure of government. I need to be looking at where failure of government needs reform. You bring it back to Congress and we fix it. That's the reason I'm excited about the committee. I was excited when I was in the majority before. I was even excited at times when Henry Waxman went after real problems.
Yeah, the New York Times recently called you, and I'm quoting now, annoyer-in-chief, referring to annoying the Obama administration. Is that a badge of honor from your perspective?
Wolf, in the minority it is. If you try to hold the administration accountable from the minority when you have no power, the most I can do is get the press to ask a lot of questions and annoy them. Ultimately, I have no authority. In the majority, yes, I want government to do what it's supposed to do and nothing more. I want it to do on time what they're supposed to. You know, FEMA was a failure recognized by Katrina and Rita, no question at all. But are you saying that it's a success today after the Gulf situation? Probably not.
You measuring the curtains already in that new office you might be getting?
No, because Ed Towns and I have worked really closely together. He's helped get me subpoenas and get me information time and time again. Our relationship, you haven't heard much about it, but for the most part, when we went into the details with Toyota, when we got the chairman himself, Akio Toyoda, to come here and make a promise to the American people that this was going to be fixed on his watch, I think we did something without a subpoena, without a lot of hoopla, but at the same time, we got Secretary LaHood to commit and begin the process of fixing NHTSA. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do it together whenever possible.
The National Highway Transportation Safety Transportation.
No acronyms, if you can help it.
All right, Darrell Issa, Congressman.